Well, it's been said often enough that any parent raising a child with a disability deserves respect and admiration. Well, that's true, of course, but what's sometimes forgotten in the attempt to help the child with special needs is the psychological impact of that disability on other children in the family. Whether it's autism, brain damage or physical disabilities, the brothers or sisters often suppress their own fears and desires because of the stress inside their family. The results can be devastating. Tonight, 3 people, now adults, talk openly about the impact on their lives of having a sibling with a disability. As Kerry Brewster found, it's a compelling story.
I just knew that there was something very wrong with her, and I didn't know if she was going to die, and I didn't know if that meant I was going to die or if my parents were going to die.
This is the house coming up, just here.
For a long while, I thought that I'd actually caused her disability and that it was somehow my fault. Concentrate on what you're doing.
Okay, sorry.
No, wait there. Ainsley got stuck in the birth canal when she was being born and she lacked oxygen to her brain.
Pick him up.
Okay, one at a time, ready?
Pick him up.
Pick him up. Oh, shit. By the time I came along, Mum and Dad had just realised that things weren't right with Ainsley. She wasn't sitting up and wasn't rolling over. Sit down. All right, weapons off.
Helen Gawilliam thought no one would ever understand what she'd been through growing up with her big sister.
I remember the staring from forever. It was just everywhere we went, people would stop dead in their tracks and their jaws would drop and they would stare and they'd poke each other and point and sometimes laugh. There's almost like a survivor guilt that's associated with being a sibling, of walking around capable and able to do all these things where this other little person that you love and adore can't do that, and you feel a tremendous amount of grief. There's also a huge amount of anger. I was very jealous that I never got any one-on-one time with either of my parents because they're so tied up with Ainsley. Remember then I got you in my room?
Yes.
And then I put you in the sun?
Yeah.
And you got heat stroke?
Yeah. Yes.
Wasn't very good, was it?
No, it wasn't. And I got sick.
Yep.
And
you kept telling me, I'm so hot. And I said, shut up, Ainsley.
Go to sleep.
Go to sleep. But you were getting heat stroke.
And I said, Mum,
yes.
Mum, I'm not well.
Hey, Craig. Have a kiss? Kiss? Kiss. Thanks.
Amy Patra felt the strain that came with helping raise her brother.
He was 3 when he was diagnosed with autism. Mum and Dad were very stressed and Craig was very volatile.
How was your day, Craig? Good?
You couldn't stop him, like he'd kick the door in, he knew how to get out. And so we'd be constantly yelling for him to come back and chasing him down the street.
Have you been here before?
Park.
Park. Yeah.
Oh, it was stressful, very stressful, chaotic. I would often go to my room and cry. And, you know, if I was to hear Mum or Dad come by, and if they were going to come in, I would make sure I'd stop crying and put on a good face.
What kind of counselling or support did you get as a kid?
Well, as a sibling, I didn't really get any counselling.
I think people look at siblings and think, well, they can walk and talk, what's their problem? And so our community in general doesn't understand the sorts of experiences that they're going through.
Author Kate Strome grew up with an older sister who had cerebral palsy, an experience she later wrote a book about.
I went through a period where I was having panic attacks, and I had been to various counsellors, but none of them explored the fact that I'd grown up with a sister with severe disability. It just didn't seem to be of interest to them, which was one of the reasons that I wrote the book. I just felt when I finally found someone who was able to help me through that, and part of my own journey was really forgiving the little child that I was, forgiving the little 8-year-old that, you know, and realise that she didn't have the skills to manage what she was experiencing, because I'd grown up feeling like I was a bad child because sometimes I wanted my sister to disappear. Now all brothers and sisters have that feeling, but I think when it's a child with disability, the emotions are quite intensified.
She's lovely and sweet, beautiful, perfect.
Oh, perfect. Thank you.
I was always very, very anxious. And it just, the older that I got, the worse and worse that it became, where it escalated in my 30s into dissociative episodes, full-blown panic attacks, outbursts of anger for no reason. I found Kate's book, Siblings, and I read that and I cried through every single page of it. And it was the first time that I really identified with being a sibling, and just knowing that there were other siblings out there who had had similar and same experiences, and actually just feeling connected to other people who had had a similar experience was very cathartic.
As an adult, Amy suffered too.
I would say I was very up and down in terms of my mood. I didn't know it was depression, I just knew I was sad and I just wanted someone to help me.
Rest and tummy time.
During pregnancy, Amy's anxiety included the worry her son Oscar would be autistic too. How do you feel now? He's 10 weeks old.
It is something that's on my mind, but I've been able to control that worry. And, you know, he's looking at me, he's smiling. You know, he's doing all the things that he should be doing.
Okay, see you, Craig. And kiss. Kiss.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Siblings really are just too important to ignore. I think the costs to the community are far greater if we let these children develop more anxiety and depression, and if we let them, you know, maybe move away from the person with disability. We should be really nurturing that sibling relationship enormously.
If anyone who sees this knows of a family with a disability, reach out to that little sibling and make sure they're okay. And also, I guess, for parents who have children with disability, you know, it really doesn't take a lot to connect your child with another child who is in a similar circumstance.